Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest Carson's Take 5 with Ryan and Sonu. Sonu, we're titling this one, Good News is Good News, because I'll go to you in a second about some good news on the labor front. Last year, we had a very interesting year where good news was bad news was good news. If the economy's weak, the Fed will do this. If the economy's strong, the Fed will do that. I didn't like it. You didn't like it. Hopefully a lot of you watching this didn't like that. That made no sense. We are finally back in a world, back to normal, where good news is good news. Sonu, give me some good news about the employment backdrop right here.
There you go. You better not cry. You better not pout. You know, this is the season for good news, right?
There you go.
No, look, we came into this month with the unemployment rate having gone up from 3.4% back in April to 3.9%. Mm-hmm. So that's always concerning. Because, you know, as the unemployment rate goes up, that means it usually more often than not continues to go up, right? And that means the labor market something's breaking. That means economy has higher odds of breaking, and then, you know, we start worrying about recession. So it's never pleasant for that to happen. The good news here is that the November payroll report, which came out recently, that showed that the unemployment rate fell back down to 3.7%. I think that's huge. If you were worried about the labor market based on the unemployment rate going up, I think you can rest easy, at least for another month. These things are volatile, but it's one more month that we are further away from something like 4%, 4.5% unemployment rate, especially if we get to 4.5%, 5% unemployment rate. I think we're kind of in a danger zone. I'd be more worried about recession. We're quite far away from that right now.
So I'll jump in for a second. So that's good news. The unemployment rate is not going higher. Last year, our economy made about 5 million jobs, right? Created 5. That's an all-time record, right? That's not normal. Now we're getting more back to normal. So we're making like about 200,000 jobs every single month. It feels like here consistently, but we made about 2.5 million more jobs this year. That's a good thing, right? That sounds like good news.
Yeah, over the last 3 months, we've averaged 200,000, just over 200,000 jobs. And here's some perspective. That's obviously halved, right, from last year. So you think, oh my God, is that going to continue going down? And will that put us into a recession? No, slowdown doesn't mean recession. The good news is we've seen stabilization in hiring, right? Hiring has eased from last year, but it's actually better than 2019, Ryan. In 2019, every month, we were averaging 163,000 jobs. And remember, we talked about that economy being pretty good. Over the full year, 2019, the economy created under 2 million jobs. As you said, just over the first 11 months of this year, we're at 2.5 million already.
It's interesting because honestly, if you ask me, what do you think of 2019? What do you remember? It's wow, that was a good year, right? Profits were good, stock market's up a lot, economy was strong. Yet you're telling me we were making only 163,000 jobs a month, and that felt really good back then. So again, we're more back to normal, I think, when it comes to this. I mean, let's keep this kind of high level and simple, Sonu, because you know, for this video purpose. But let's talk about like quits and hires and things like that. Are you seeing anything under the surface that would worry you? We've got the headline numbers, which look good, but there are some other data pieces you look at. What are you seeing under there?
And you always want to look at the totality of labor market indicators, right? Which is why I wasn't, yes, did the increase in unemployment rate from 3.4 to 3.9 concern me? Yes, a little bit, but I looked at everything and it was like, okay, so far we don't have much to worry about. That's because the JOLTS survey, job openings and labor turnover survey, that comes out every month. It gives you even more information about the labor market. Yes, we saw hiring has eased, but it's stabilized for the last several months, right? And then layoffs are running really low. Before the pandemic, layoffs were running around 1.8 million per month, right? A lot of people get laid off in a normal economy too, but they all find jobs at the same time, right? So right now, layoffs are running about 1.6 million. Again, that's higher than last year. Last year, layoffs are extraordinarily low, about 1.5. Yeah. Slightly above that, 1.6, but that's still incredibly low, right? Because before the pandemic, as I said, we were running at 1.8 million. Then you normalize it for the fact that we have a larger workforce right now than 4 years ago. The layoff rate, which is layoffs as a percentage of the employed workforce, that's running at 1%. Before the pandemic, we were running at 1.2, 1.3%. So again, more perspective. So good news is good news.
So we're making more jobs. Less people are getting laid off. I mean, this is good news is good news. Let's finish up with some more good news here. Stocks have had a heck of a run to end this year, right? In November, the S&P 500 gained 8.9%, one of the best monthly gains we've ever seen. So when you look at just previous months that gain, at least 8%, take a wild guess what happens. The future returns are really strong. I looked at the best 20 months ever, right? And this was the 18th strongest month ever. 1 year later, after the best 20 months ever, the S&P 500 was up over 13% on average, higher 80% of the time. Both of those better than average. So again, we just had a big rally. I think our key concept here is good news is good news. That big rally could mean momentum can continue with the economy. The economy needs to stay strong. Let's be clear. The economy falls apart. Hey, we probably don't have a good bull market, but the economy we just laid out is still strong thanks to the employment backdrop. There could be a lot of momentum going to this. And I'll keep this one very, very simple and high level. Earlier this month, we saw a lot of stocks making a new monthly high. What in the world does that mean? It tells you there's a lot of stocks going up. You might have heard on the TV, only 7 stocks were going up. We disagree with that. There are a lot of stocks, Sonu, that are going higher. When I took a look at that data, when we've seen previous spikes in the number of stocks making a new monthly high, the very good news for investors is the returns a year later are extremely strong. And I think that's important to remember why we continue to think this is a bull market. So I'm looking at the time here. We've kind of hit about the end of the road, Sonu. Any final comments on why good news is good news?
No, it's perfect timing with this with the season we're in to get good news. But I think the good news from the economy will translate to good news for markets going into next year.
And that, hopefully, is good news for everybody watching. With all that, this is the latest Carson's Take 5 with Ryan and Sonu. We'll see everyone next time. Take care. Thank you.